What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about a handful of stocks today. I'll be going over the list right now in the order that we're going to go over them. First and foremost, SOFI, S-O-F-I. For Disney is greedy. We'll be talking about COS and SQ next for Honcho. Moving on to C Limited for Navi and TSM for user TL6MO. There's more after that, but I'm just going to stop that. More on his name, not more stocks, right? We're going to be going over SOFI, Cost, SQ, C Limited, and TSM. That's the list for today. Let's get it started. Shout out to my cat right there. Right there. He's sleeping right through this. All right. Looking at it on a weekly basis here, yes, SOFI had quite the week to start. A lot of volume. Unfortunately, it just kind of produced a lower high, and here we are, looking like we're just engulfing all the progress that we had. You're up 1.44% as of right now on the week. You started off the week 20% in the green, and you're just giving it all back, man. Rejected the overbought zone. I definitely think you're going lower. This to me looks like you're kind of in a range, almost like a distributive range, lower highs. You're probably going to see a lower low. When you break this low, it'll probably be dramatic down to that 451 area. If not 451, maybe 542 is what I would expect. But let's just see if anything lines up on the fibs. 628 is your golden retracement. And I would think if you went below this low, I would think that you go significantly lower. So the 786 down here at about 532, 480 at the 886, that would kind of make sense. You very well could see the 1272 or the 1618 come into play. Not a friendly looking RSI, man. In fact, you have bearish divergence even, to be completely fair, in this distributive range here, which also is kind of like finding resistance at like your IPO closing price for the first week there. Resistance here, a little bit of support here, technically a little support there, resistance. I really do think you're going to see prices down here, if not potentially even lower over the coming months. And I say months because I don't think it's just going to happen quick. I think you probably will see quick drops along the way maybe, but it's not going to be a straight line is all I'm trying to say. The question that I have right now is, will it go lower than these lows? I wouldn't be surprised if it did, but I also wouldn't be surprised if you kind of held these lows and really what you're in, relatively speaking, kind of a distributive top, but you're in kind of a grand area of accumulation maybe. Maybe you do go lower because, also an argument to be made is that you're in a lower high scenario. You're kind of in a downtrend, right? So I would think that you continue to go lower. Last time you had like something like this, you went down a lot. Maybe you'll go down a lot. It's hard to say, but what I can say is I'm pretty sure you're going to go lower from here. See you below $5, probably. If not below $5, below $5.50 is what I'm thinking. That's SOFI. Let's move on to Cost. Costco. Looking at it on the weekly here. Bearish divergence, volume's dying off as you're climbing. You could move up higher from here, but you're coming to an end. Is it a good time to take profits? None of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I would think so. Are you at all-time highs? Yeah, you're at all-time highs. So what better time to take profits? Let's look at what you're doing on a relative fib basis in a second, actually. Technically, you do have bearish divergence on the monthly, but I don't know. I wouldn't weigh too much on that. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Top to bottom here, 1272, 1414. Yeah, like I said, at first you could absolutely go up a little higher, maybe up to 725. I doubt you go all the way up to your 1618, though. Again, that is possible. I would expect that you see a return back at some point to this monthly closing high here below 580, just around 580, but a little bit below it given time. Looking at the weekly again, back to that. Come on now. You do have a little bit of bearish divergence presenting itself, but man, that divergence can be taken out if you just keep growing. You might go up higher and then you'll dump. You know what I mean? Like here, for example, perfect example right here. You had bearish divergence. I'll put it right there. Vertical line right here. You literally had bearish divergence from this topping area to like where you're moving up here. But basically, as soon as you broke that bearish divergence, you had like a double top, that's when you rolled over, right? And then you proceeded to form some deeper divergence. You still went up over time. So, I mean, maybe you do pull back or you go all the way up to that 1618 area, which would take, and that could take, time, several months. But maybe you do see prices up around $800, $780 to $800, somewhere in there, maybe. It wouldn't be totally uncommon from this area, the 1414, the 1272, to pull back to your 886. It really wouldn't be uncommon at all. You don't look like you're respecting your 123 weekly, and that's okay. That's not a big deal. Let's look at the daily. Let's look at the daily. A little bit more significant bearish divergence here. We've got 1, 2, triple bearish. It's almost like quadruple bearish divergence at this point, which tells me you probably do continue going higher, honestly. It wouldn't be crazy at all. Man, they're giving you pennies there, aren't they? Let's see. A little bit higher. I think you go a little bit higher from here. I really do. You might be close to your top, but you could move up another 80 bucks, maybe it's another 20 bucks, something like that. It's kind of hard to say because you are in price discovery right now. You know, it's really hard to say. So the best kind of guess that I would give is look for one of these two fib levels, either 725 or 788.62. Look for those areas. I would assume the 1414 is where you find some resistance, but maybe all that is back to the 1272, and then you move up to there, and then you have this pullback back to your previous monthly closing highs. But that's my thoughts on this thing. I think it does have a little bit more upside before it turns around. Personally, that's my thoughts, which I don't normally say when you have this kind of volume profile, but you just broke out, man. I think you're going to get more continuation. SQ Block Inc. They make blocks with ink inside them. Let's see. Monthly, rejecting the 50, hidden bearish divergence, accumulation range. You probably come back down to about 57. You're at 66 now. It's 57, 55, somewhere in there. That would make sense to me. Top or bottom to top here. And you got your 618 all the way down at 51. You could hit that. That is possible. 55, I do like that 55, 57 area for a low though. You don't have to hit any of these fibs, but nonetheless, I would expect that you go below $60 again, probably below 57. Between that and $50, I would genuinely expect around 55 is my best guess for this thing. Pretty simple on this. Yeah, I think you've got lower to go relatively soon. If you move up from here, it's not going to be by much, and if you move down from here, it's really not going to be by much either. SQ, I mean, maybe to some people it is, but you know, everybody has different risk tolerances. Limited. SE, all right. That's why you were saying it, huh, Navi? SE, US, like a US stock exchange, I'm assuming, right? Or because it's in US dollars, maybe. If I see anything and I have it priced in US dollars, I think of commodities or cryptos, which essentially are the same thing, right? They're not, legally speaking, but some cryptos are, but I digress, man. I'm not trying to talk. Man. Anyways. You guys might be fortunate enough to hear my neighbors arguing. They're arguing right now. I think she got caught talking to some guy, from what I can hear, telling him to come pick her up or something like that, and the guy that she's with right now is pissed about that. Rightfully so, maybe. And it sounds she sounds like she's lying about it, but that's okay. Anyways, enough about the personal quarrels of my apartment complex. Let's get back to the TA, man. I really like this place, man. I really do. But the halls, they're like super loud. I've never been in an apartment complex where the halls are so loud and carried. I can't wait for the summertime when things are a little bit more warm. I'm going to do a lot of outdoor analysis. You guys can see the deck and the patio, man. It's huge. It's like actually like a really nice spot. But enough about that. Let's see here. I'm having a hard time with this one, man. I want to say it's going to go up. I want to say kind of same thing I've been saying with a few of these. It's in an accumulation phase, though this might be more toward the end of its accumulation, getting ready to move up. like solid move down. You can see this nice curve. I really do like this nice like soft curve that you've got going on. You could accumulate for a while longer. It could be several months, and then you break out. You could break out tomorrow, man. Like, who knows? It could be a month. It's hard to say with stuff like this. Unfortunately, indicators become kind of useless whenever you're doing neutral stuff like this. But what I can say is you're above your green line on the daily. Maybe that counts for something. You're bouncing off the 50, nice. Even after rejecting the overbought zone, nice. I think you are showing resilience. As far as breaking out of this accumulation phase, I wouldn't really get too excited until you're here. But relative to like this area right now, I do think you're looking like you want to go up higher. Because look here, you got to this line, rejected it, got to this line, rejected it, got to this line for like 2 days, rejected it. You've been hanging out here for a while. I think this is very common with what you see whenever you move up. Maybe you have one last little flush down, it'll be a higher low, probably back down to around 36 or something, and then up, but you might just go up from here, man. That's decent volume. That's almost like average volume, honestly, based on the volume ratio or ratings that I have here. That histogram, you can see the bars, that little histogram, the little like faded colors there. Well, whenever it's above that, that's above average volume, if that makes sense. When it's below it, it's below average volume. So about average, it's like literally right at that histogram level. And it looks like it wants to break out, man. So you actually might be making a move up to $46, but will you break out of this range as a whole right now? I don't know. Because again, this is a very soft curve. You could be in this for several more months. And even if you do break above it, maybe break above it, and then you find support on here for a few months, and then you continue higher. Like I don't expect that you're going to see higher prices, like dramatically higher prices, too soon. But who knows? Maybe you do. You do have bullish divergence on your monthly. Higher lows right here, really nice to see. I wonder what this fib is. Low to high. 1272. Didn't even hit it, man. That's actually really good, honestly. It's like a sign of strength, in my opinion. It would be a sign of weakness if you didn't hit it to the upside, right? And that can be wrong. I can be wrong, man. 382, right in line with that up there, yeah. Maybe I was thinking too small, man. Looking at the monthly here, maybe this is your accumulation range. Maybe it's not this. This is like smaller. Maybe you come up, you form like an inverse head and shoulders kind of, and then you move up. I don't know. All in all, I would expect at least to move up to $46 here pretty soon, like rather immediately. And then over the coming months, you might be making your way up to $85. But if not, you know, if you stay range bound here, I still think one way or another you're at your lows. You do have nice bullish divergence on the monthly. And on the weekly, but again, it's just so flat, so neutral. Indicators aren't going to be too helpful right now. I do think you move up immediately. That's all I'm going to say. And if you move down, it's going to be a little bit. It'll be a higher low. So it looks good. It looks good. Like this is probably a good area to buy for like a long-term hold. Like honestly, on this thing, some like far out expiration dates for call options, stuff like that. I'm not recommending anybody do anything, you know, it's just my opinion. Like if I was looking to invest in these are my thoughts, right? I'm not a financial advisor, but that's my thoughts. So moving on, finishing this up with TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. Let's see, they give dividends. What are your divvies? Not that much. Okay. A little something's better than nothing, I suppose, but looking good. Yeah. Yes, you are. Wow. Very good. Semiconductor companies, man. You know, there's companies that have names on them, like normally whenever it's like therapeutics or technologies or like anything like that, they look like this, but to the downside. Whenever you see like semiconductor, it's normally going up. That's you know, you want a good long-term stock. Most semiconductor stocks seem to be doing fine. I don't really know where I would take a fib basis here. I mean, maybe this is kind of like your local base to your high. 618 tapped, looks about right. You're above your 236. I think you're getting ready to make new all-time highs, man. You know, it could take a while. This is on the monthly chart. It could take months, years even. But I think you're on your way there now. Probably, I would think by the end of this year, you'll be back around your all-time highs, if not past it. And whenever that happens, you'll move up to about 184 to 251, something like that. Not bad. Pretty decent. Let's see here what you did. Went up to your 1886 rather immediately. All the way. Dude, look at that. Look at that. Literally tipped your 1886, tipped your 4618, such a deep extension, but this is a very small fib scale to take. Bounced off your 1886. You like that 1886, don't you? So I'm inclined to think, and this is a bigger range here, so just because you hit the 4 last time, that I don't think you're going to do that this time. But the 1886 might be at play here. You really liked that one a lot. That stood out. Here you are rejecting your 786. Sure, maybe immediately you come down to about $100, find support there, and then continue to move up. That wouldn't be crazy, but if you continue to move up from here, that also wouldn't be crazy. Look for that 184 to 251 area first, but I think you're moving your way all the way up to like 320. That's going to be where your next like major top is, probably, in my opinion. Weekly looks good. Daily looks good too, man. Yeah, if you move down, it's going to be a little bit, maybe move down like 10%, but maybe you don't really, because then you'd fill that whole gap, and I don't really think you're going to, man. Honestly, I'd be surprised if you move too much lower than $109, $109, $110. But if you do, maybe you drop back to about 100, just above 100, and then continue to move up from there. But you might just start moving up from here too, man. Either way, like I think this one's good for the long haul too. Mid to long term looks good, man. This is like buying before the breakout. I think you're in pretty good price territories. But you know, if you look at this for what it is, it's kind of like a channel upwards, right? You kind of are at like the upper area of it. Maybe you move up higher, find resistance, and then you come back down. You know, who knows? But rough drawing, so it might not be exactly that low, but you know what I mean? Like, I doubt that it just goes like this straight up. Though it could, anything can happen. But nonetheless, month to month, I think it's going up. Week to week, I think it's going up. Day to day, maybe it goes down a little bit. That's my thoughts. Maybe it stays stagnant for just like the next week or two and then moves up. But I could be wrong about that. It could move up faster than that, you know, or a little slower than that. But that's my thoughts, man. If you like the video, hit that like button. If you would like to subscribe, I very much appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. And I will see you guys on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.